All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Xochitl Torres. I'm the program director for the Arts, Media, and Entertainment High Road Training Partnership here at the BRIC Foundation. We're going to call it AME HRTP for short. It is a historic new initiative that's led by BRIC to bridge training and education programs with employment to help underrepresented individuals target high-wage, high-skilled jobs in arts, media, and entertainment. As someone who knew early on that they wanted to work in this industry, but didn't necessarily know the right path, here to tell you that there is no linear path and everyone's journey is going to look very different. But that's what makes registered apprenticeship programs stand out, because it's an alternative pathway into the industry and a sustainable model to support the next generation. So without further ado, I'm excited to moderate today's panel on registered apprenticeship programs. We have representatives for 5 registered apprenticeship programs within the industry. And we'll discuss the opportunities that are available to students and aspiring creatives. So before we dive in, just wanted to let everybody know to please access the Zoom Q&A if you have any questions. If there are questions in the chat, we probably won't be able to see them. So please make sure to use that Q&A feature. And we will try to leave 10 to 15 minutes at the end to answer any of those questions. And the other thing I wanted to note was we refer to registered apprenticeship programs as RAPs, R-A-P-S. So if anybody says that, that's what it's for. So great, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to our panelists to introduce themselves. And we'll start off with Nicole. If you could share your organization and the work that you do within your RAP.
Thank you so much, Xochitl. My name is Nicole. I'm the executive director and co-founder of the BRIC Foundation. We focus on getting women and people from historically excluded groups into entertainment, media, and tech. We hold the Registered Apprenticeship Program for animation, visual effects, and games. And then within that, we support the career paths of concept art, visual development, animator, modeler, rigger, effects artist, tech artist, game design, and production management. And then also in there, BG Paint is also a subsector because we have a couple of BG kids as well. But and so with that, our program is competency based, which means that you have specific competencies that industry professional advisory has told us, like, this is what makes a great entry level person that you need to hit in order to move through the apprenticeship program. And then from there, we utilize an employer consortium model. So in healthcare, for example, because apprenticeship is a model that has existed for a long time in different industries. So for healthcare, Kaiser Permanente will be like, we'll take 40 apprentices. That's never going to be entertainment. So what we do is we leverage multiple employers to take 1 or 2 or 3, and then try to get like 8,800 employers. So every RAP is a little different, but that's the way that we kind of tackle the unique things within animation, visual effects, and games.
Thank you. Monika, would you like to go?
Sure. My name is Monika Cox. I'm the program director at the Handy Foundation, and we are a nonprofit organization that trains, like a workforce development program that trains underrepresented people jobs, below the line jobs in the television film world, such as production coordinating, assistant editors, post-production coordinators, DIT, digital image technicians, virtual productions assistants, story editing, and then production audio as well. And so basically we train them on these jobs and we help place them in with employment opportunities, at production studios and companies.
Great. Could we go to Colby?
Sure. Hi, I'm Colby Wilson. I'm the program manager with Even. At Even, we are a nonprofit that is focused on running an apprenticeship program focused on 6 career technical pathways. And those are lighting technician, audio technician, stage and scenic technician, video technician, special effects technician, and automation technician. So we're focused on developing those backstage careers. All of our tracks are technical. And we also, like so many other organizations here, we are aligned with making sure that we are opening the door for communities that have been historically marginalized.
And we'll go to Johnathon. Oh, you're muted.
Hey, I'm Johnathon Amayo with Key Code Media. I'm the Chief Academic Officer, also with Key Code Education, which is a subsidiary. We offer a post-production engineering certification, which is 2,000 hours over 250 hours of training, both editor certification, finishing certification. We actually do audio certification for the engineers. All through vendor-based certification programs that we have in place through the school itself. We currently place our individuals with Key Code Media ourselves. So we're a national company that sells, integrates, and supports post-production and production setups all over Hollywood, Northern, Southern California, all over the country, actually, really. But our main office headquarters is located in Burbank. And so, yeah.
Great. And lastly, but not least, is Katrina.
Everyone, Katrina Frye from Music Forward Foundation. We are a nonprofit that sits within the Live Nation family, and I'm happy to say that we represent way too many apprenticeship pathways. We represent right now around 13, but I'll focus on the ones that you might be most interested in, and that's usually the ones that pertain to touring and live music business and entertainment. So we are really looking for the next touring manager. We're looking for the next touring accountant. We really are looking for the special events or stagehand, grips, anything that you see before Beyonce goes on stage is really what we're looking for. And we specialize in our work, just as everyone else, with underrepresented humans, but also 18 to 24-year-olds. We have rolling enrollment because we have a wide range of employers. So whether they're ready to jump on tour or sit in the office, we're really looking at a range of people. So definitely have all that on our website, and that's musicforwardfoundation.org. So thanks for having me here.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here representing your respective BRACs. Before we dive into the specifics of your programs, I just want to share with everyone here what RAPs more or less have in common. So a registered apprenticeship program is a federally and state recognized program that establishes high wage, high skill career pathways and prepares individuals for the workforce. It combines on-the-job training with mentorship and job-related academic instruction in a curriculum aligned with specific career pathways. So eligible candidates will receive 1080 hours of paid on-the-job training, 144 hours of related supplemental instruction, which we refer to as RSI, and that's also the academic instruction that we were talking about. Then there's 12 months of dedicated mentorship, and an official certificate of completion that can often be viewed as an alternative to a college degree. Ultimately, these programs are here to support participants and will work to provide items or services or resources that will set apprentices and participants up for success. I also just want to highlight eligibility. So you must be a current California resident and be authorized to work in the US. A lot of these registered apprenticeship programs do target individuals between the ages of 18 and 24 or who are veteran status. We are looking to expand to other states. Music Forward Foundation does have a national apprenticeship program, which maybe Katrina can talk about. And I know that Handy Foundation is also looking to expand as well. So then wanted to go around to all of you and have you each share a little bit more information about your respective RAPs. I know some of you already shared the career tracks that are available, but maybe if you could emphasize on some of those. What services does your registered apprenticeship provide? Do you do training, mentorship? What are the placement opportunities like? And how do you match your apprentice or participants with related supplemental instruction, and how does that play into your program? And anyone can jump in. Would you like to go, Jonathan?
Sure. I mean, I had a thought. I lost it. I can tell you that our apprenticeship started organically this year, that there was, we have run a vocational school that's certified in the state of California for 6 years. And we happen to have a unique place in the country where we offer all of these engineering classes for engineering in film and TV, and you can't get these certifications in college, and you can't get any of this training in schools that you think you would be able to, yet there's a desperate need for individuals, and we rarely had people come through the classes who were unemployed. And our own company we have like 60 or 70 engineers on staff in Los Angeles alone. And so we had a desperate need to fill those spots, and the industry had the desperate need. And so we organically built this program. And so we built it using a vocational school, which we offer courseware both for colleges, high schools, and we started working with training professionals, really, editors, colorists, finishers, camera people, live production people. And so through this certification program, even though the focus is on engineering, you're actually going to get a full set of training on how to become an editor, an assistant editor. You'll have a full-fledged of color classes, audio classes, live production classes, and all the technical stuff that goes behind it, which is the computers, the wiring, the networking, and understanding. We're in a weird place with technology as we move from physical computers to virtual computers within the industry. And obviously AI is going to be a big part of that. And so it's a really neat program because we offer every aspect of it in-house. We do the training through our school, which, as I mentioned, is a separate entity. We have our, I think, 12 engineers who are senior engineers who are doing on-the-job mentoring, including myself. And then we put you in the field working at different locations. A lot of companies in Hollywood no longer even employ engineers. So Key Code will employ engineers at Google, at LA City Hall, at places that you may not have heard of, like Max Post and other post-production facilities. And so we'll be placing you within these facilities under the Key Code umbrella. And so you'll get a ton of hands-on real-world experience. And then when it's done, you'll obviously have employment at Key Code. But we have just signed 3 companies up in the early phases for commitment, which include Technicolor, Photochem, and Moviola, which are our large post-production facilities within Hollywood. And so it's kind of exciting. We have our first cohort, which is 5 apprentices through right now as we speak. They've already done 50 hours of editing training and 2 engineering classes, and have been working on a deployment as we speak. So, for us, I would say we're newish to the program. And we offer a very organic process. Everything will be in-house at Key Code Media and Key Code Education. But it allows us to really keep track and offer the best educational opportunity from our perspective, just because we really are going to monitor and track where you are in that process. And our keys aren't just our engineers signing you off, but there are actually certification exams, which when you're done with the apprenticeship, whether you stay or leave, they're worth their weight in gold outside of there are Cisco certifications. And so these are certifications that, even beyond our industry at IT facilities, they're worth their weight. And so it's extremely challenging, but also really worth your time if you happen to be into technology and creative process. It's like they're at that, that where those 2 roads meet, it's a fun place to kind of play in the sandbox.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Code's apprenticeship program so unique, that you train them through your program and then you're able to hire them directly for Key Code Media. Monika, would you like to go?
Sure, yeah. We are, our organization, Handy Foundation, we've been in business 4 years. Our legacy program, and it's still going on right now as we speak, is our assistant editing training program. And it's a 6-week program, and it's specifically held on the weekends because we know that a lot of our a lot of people are going to school, and we notice like the best time for them to attend classes, our courses are during their weekends. So typically they're held from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And throughout this program, well, let me just back it up. When we're interviewing candidates for the program, we are looking for people that have some skills versus no skills at all. And those specific skills are mainly editing skills, post-production skills, who are looking to really upskill their knowledge of what they know. And so they take our courses to learn the full course of what it's like, the workflow of what it's like to be an assistant editor. But during this program, we provide guest speakers of industry professionals, as well as mentorship. And then they're connected with all of our graduates. So, and it's just not our assistant editors, it's everyone as a whole. And we are really about community building within each other, as graduates. So that gives them a way to network and meet more people and use them as a resource. So if they're placed on a job, they have all of these people to reach out to for assistance on top of their mentor. We also provide financial literacy, because we know that this business, specifically, as a AE, if you're working on television shows and films, it's a freelance world. And so we teach them budget management. How do you manage your finances while you're in the program, while you're working, and not like just go broke at the end of your assignment. So we provide those services as well. And yeah, it's a great program. And then throughout our program, they are actually have hands-on experience, specifically on Avid. And so there's practical drills as if you are working on a real show, that you're giving assignments, and those assignments will determine if you're ready to work on the show, on a show or not. And so we have our instructors evaluate them and provide their feedback. Sometimes people need more time. Other people, pick it up, right away. So it just depends on one's skill level. But yeah, our goal is to basically help train people and provide these opportunities if it's like the studio needs and the production company needs. We carefully match them to what they're looking for, and then our students as well. So yeah, I think I answered those questions.
Yes, you did. And I love that part about offering financial literacy courses, because that's really important for creatives, especially for starting out in the industry and learning how to manage their money when you're kind of moving from job to job. Awesome. Katrina, would you like to go?
Yes. With Music Forward Foundation, since we offer such a range of pathways, we are really focused on making sure that you are professionally ready. So what we hear from a lot of our employee partners is that people are underwhelmingly, basically post-COVID, you have the education. What we see is we have a lot of educationally ready people, but maybe you haven't had the reps under your belt. So we're really focused on professional development. A lot of our work is working with Live Nation HR recruiters and training people up into what we're really looking for, so that from interview to hours on the job, you really are that shining professional. Because in our job, it is transitory, like everyone's talking about. So really all that matters is your reputation and how kind you are on the job. And so we feel like we see people with the skill set, but maybe you feel like maybe you don't have that 3 to 5 years, under your belt. And so we really want to bring you up to speed on what a 3 to 5 year professional is going to know, and make sure you're ready for those on the job experiences. We also do offer mentorship. And then another unique part, just kind of hearing what everyone else is doing. We're all doing very similar things, but more unique to Music Forward Foundation, since again, we are under the Live Nation umbrella, is that we offer venue tours. And within the venue tour, it's small groups going within venue. If you see someone you like, or if you see a job that you've never seen before, we also encourage job shadowing. And so from there, we feel like that that really gets you to know, because we find a lot of people that are like, yeah, I want to do stagehand and lighting tech, or I'm great as a tour manager or operations manager, but I also like special events. So we like to get you in the ring and really flesh out what you're great at and assess around strengths and skills, and then again bring you up as a professional. So that's kind of more about Music Forward Foundation.
I love what you said about, doing that professional development and training with individuals, because in an earlier conversation today, Nicole, myself, and Michael Trogan were talking about how, you can have the hard skills, but oftentimes you also need to learn the soft skills. You need to learn how to talk to people, how to pitch yourself, how to network. And those are essential to helping you grow and succeed in your career. Colby, can we go to you?
Sure. Um, so one thing that we are really excited about is one of the first steps in our program is being selected and paired with one of our employer partners. And so how the program kind of functions is the first 6 to 7 months, apprentices will come in, complete our online modules, which that's where our RSI will live. And as they're completing those modules, they'll be getting the hands-on training as well. So our complete program is 12 to 18 months. So it's not a lot of, I guess, classroom learning happening the whole time. We really want to get that learning in at the beginning so that participants are spending most of their time getting that hands-on experience with the employer partner that they will be paired with. Yeah, mentorship is also a part of it. Each apprentice will be paired with a mentor as well. So we really want to make sure that we're providing like a robust experience. Some of the courses that they will experience, like Music Forward, also project management, career and portfolio development, production networking foundations, rigging and structures fundamentals, PowerShell fundamentals, and event safety. When you do our event safety course, you will actually come out with an OSHA certification. So that's one thing that we're really excited about as well.
Awesome. And then Nicole, which I'm sure everybody has heard about, BRIC's apprenticeship program.
I know, I was like, I can talk about it if y'all want, but no. We honestly, like, thank you so much to my partners, Colby, Katrina, Monika, and of course the wonderful very group, and Johnathon and Katrina, obviously. So with that, I want you all to know about Entertainment Equity Alliance. So we are all part of the Entertainment Equity Alliance. And a lot of times historically nonprofits can be a little bit competitive, right? Because we're all competing for the same grant funding, we're all competing for the same donors and what have you. But what a really beautiful thing that one of the co-founders, Allison Frenzel, has done for all of us is she's helped us really define lanes to stay in so we can all swim together with these programs. And so with Entertainment Equity Alliance, you'll see a link to all of our programs, because I see in the chat that people are wanting to know the names of all of our programs. You'll see when there's applications that go live. You'll see when we're doing virtual events and in-person events, because it's very important that all the programs are around together. And with that, BRIC's apprenticeship program, it's at 1080 hours, so 6 months in a day, with 144 hours of related supplemental instruction. And we don't necessarily at this time do a ton of training on our own outside of our pre-apprenticeship schools, because we're at a situation where we can't really scale a lot of our training. Scalability is a really hard thing, and we put a lot of our time and effort into expanding HRTP, which is basically a way for all of these registered apprenticeship programs, labor training partners, and CBOs that do training to get funded and support each other. And we realized that one of the main training things that we were doing was not resulting in enough of our graduates matriculating into our apprenticeship program. And I'm a data person. So to me, like, even though we had like one kind of person kind of go through, like, it wasn't enough. So we were actually in the middle of pausing our training and rebuilding what we're doing. But what the beauty of that and the importance of working together with other nonprofits and finding ways that you can all work together and fundraise together or support each other with different grants that are going on, is we're able to leverage our animation advocacy coalition partners. So if you are in animation, I cannot recommend enough Women in Animation, Rise Up Animation, Latinx in Animation, Black in Animated, Asian Queens in Animation, Asians in Animation, Diverse Tunes, and Legends Animated. And there's more, and I love you all. I'm always forgetting one. I'm so sorry. It's nothing personal. There's just a lot of us, but that's what's the beauty of it, right? Is everybody has their own mentorship program. And when BRIC can be like, hey, our program is open. Do you have any of your alumni that you want to send to us? Like, and then we can talk specifically to the mentors. And then, so that's been really great, is leveraging all of our training partners, in that way. And then what we're actually doing with training right now, with Inglewood Unified School District, which is one of our pre-apprenticeship schools, we're doing an animation studio with them this summer. So they have the kids that are going to be doing different short films. We're going through every single part of the pipeline together. So at the end of the time, they'll not only have learned from the professionals, they'll also have a portfolio piece for our specific pathways, in addition to essential skills like networking and time management and all the things that you need in life, really, right? We also, everything is very portfolio driven. So, and one of the things we noticed was that a lot of community college programs, which is where most of our people are going to come from, to be honest with you, and it's by design for us, is that you're essentially working with the same demo assets versus creating your own. So we wanted to double down on these like community college boot camp portfolio pieces. So basically, instead of just like everybody's working with the same assets, like doing an intensive time where you're coming here to create a portfolio piece in nuke and compositing or whatever that might be. So I think that for our particular pathways, with the exception of production management, that is what's important. And yeah, I think that the other part of our program is wraparound services, which every single one of our organizations do wraparound services, and it's different for every one of us. So for ours, for example, they get free Metro passes through our West LA partnership. They get free Adobe licenses, Maxon licenses, because ZBrush is one of the primary softwares needed for our program. We have a couple of schools that we work with that Unreal Engine needed to be offline versus online for their techs. We were able to help work with Unreal to get them offline Unreal Engine assets. And so a lot of it, and then Studio Binder, we're currently in the middle of trying to negotiate a deal because our production management apprentices, like that's a really great software that's like affordable. So basically a lot of it is listening. So we do regular check-ins with our cohort. And like, what do you want? So almost everything that we've expanded out has been actually requested by the apprentices. Because I'm a big believer in, if you're building the plane all at the same time while you're flying it, you might as well get real like feedback in real time and make adjustments. Because we're not talking about a cohort of 100 for us. We're talking about a cohort of like 6 to 12, 24 if we're lucky, right? Like, so when there's a small group, it's just a lot easier to make those adjustments to the program that's needed. Another thing that it's supportive services, which really like we kind of call it secret services. So we had one of our apprentices, she's a tech art apprentice, and she had to go on set and do an LED wall, and she'd never done that before. And she could have gone there and she could have totally been like, hi, I don't know what I'm doing, please help me. And that's what they were expecting, but she didn't want that. She wanted to go show up on set confident. And so we were able to have her talk to a couple of people that's what they did. So the night before, she was able to talk, get her questions out, and she was able to go on to set that next day with her like chest or head held high, chest out, whatever. Insert, I'm tired, y'all. It's been 2 days of talking. And then the other thing that we did with her too is she was having some interpersonal stuff of like, how do I like, because she was reporting to one of the heads of the company, and that can be terrifying for your first job, right? So a lot of it is just like, hey, I'm having some social dynamics that I need some assistance with. So being there for that. And then another thing, she was given a project that required, she knew a specific tool that she didn't have experience in. So she's like, hey, can you buy me this tutorial? And I was like, yes, because all of us have budgets for those types of things. Like you need an Uber because there's no public transportation to Calabasas. Done. Here's an Uber. So like that's what people get, like, why is your funding, or why do you say 18 to 24? And it's not that people outside of those ages obviously need apprenticeship. And there's a huge issue with like women going from mid-level to senior level roles. And I think there's a deep need for senior apprenticeship, which is something we're going to be investing in the future. However, all the funding's for 18 to 24. So we get to do those cool things like here's additional supportive stuff because that's within what's getting funded. And that was a long-winded loop of a thing, but I appreciate
Yes.
you bearing with me.
And there's a lot to unpack there. And honestly, I kind of lost my own train of thought in thinking about what to say to all of it. But with the supportive services, like Nicole was saying, ultimately, these registered apprenticeship programs are here to support you, the apprentice, that we want to see you succeed. So anything that you need, these RAPs are going to be able hopefully be able to provide that for you, whether that be books, transportation. I know that there's some providing childcare stipends, which really great if you don't have anyone to take care of your child. There is that for you so that then you can go to work and get that paid on the job training. So I want to be mindful of time and I wanted to go, this was also part of what Nicole was saying about that this is a collaborative. We all work together. We have community-based organizations that we work with who can provide mentorship, do some outreach, and provide recommendations of participants to then send to some of these registered apprenticeship programs. We work with the labor unions who can provide training, who can also potentially send some of these people to these registered apprenticeship programs. But the other thing that makes RAPs so successful is our employer partners. And so I wanted to go around and if everyone could share some of your employer partners that you have, what can apprentices look forward to potentially working on, or if you already had apprentices work with employers, what have they worked on that's been exciting and that can be something to look forward to? Not all at once, please. Jonathan, thank you.
I can tell you that we have apprentices at Google right now. We have a couple of projects that are happening at a couple of the studios that are taking place. So like working at Disney, but those, I don't know if that's, I think working at like the LA Kings, we did a project for 4 months ago, and that was a really fun one. I think everyone at Key Code actually went to games. And I think like the MMA and Mr. Beast, if you're into that kind of stuff, actually they stole our director of production. He just left our company to be their director of production in North Carolina, moved there, but we do a lot of work with them. They've grown obviously quite a bit. Those are some really fun ones that they've been working on. At least I know, like we just did PBS, which is, you know, for younger people it might not be as fun to talk about, but yeah, anyways.
Should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead. You don't need to ask for permission.
Alrighty. So for our apprentices, we have seen one of our apprentices go from a regular apprentice editor to a VFX editor, and from on the show Walking Dead. And then there was a spinoff of it from Walking Dead, the Daryl Dixon show. So that was one of the shows. One apprentice editor just informed us that they're working on a Lionsgate feature film. I guess there's a Michael Jackson film coming out next year. So they are working on that. And then we have also The Ultimatum, Queer Eye for Netflix, and then Love is Blind. There's some of the shows that we've placed people on. So we do both scripted and unscripted placements, but primarily for unscripted shows. Yeah. So.
Amazing. I've just started watching The Ultimatum and I'm hooked. If anyone has not seen that, I highly recommend it. The queer one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll answer that, and I'll also answer Jesse's question in the chat. Shout out to our California Workforce Development partner, Jesse Flores. Thank you for being here to support us. Some of our best successes are also technically apprenticeship program fails because of the way that data is tracked. So our tech art apprentice that went through all that I told you, She actually got hired as a proper tech artist by Microsoft, doing really cool things in Canada. That is an apprenticeship fail for my program that I now have to figure out how to deal with, right? And then we had another apprentice fail. And then these are not fails, right? These are successes, these are wins, but how the program is defined by the state of California and whatever the rules, it is a fail. She got hired by the studio that she was working on full time, you know? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, they're no longer an apprentice, they've now actually gotten, but it's not great for my data because she was in the middle of the program type of thing. And then in terms of like challenges, I think part of the challenge is there's still a lot of 1099 work in this industry. So one of our apprentices, who's concept art, gotten so many 1099 gigs after they're on the job placement, none of those count. And so it's just, I think that would be a really cool thing to count for that data, is like what happens, like there's no tax incentives for apprenticeship. There's no for jobs to stay in California with these things. Like, so when their work goes out of state or out of country, like those are technically failures. So I think it's like that, I think is the hardest thing for me. And then also the employer incentives are so hard to tap into. Like my employer, in order to get the max amount of employer incentives, I've been begging an employer for like it's potentially years at this point to take an apprentice. They're doing it, they built the thing. And now I have to like beg them to do 4 different applications with 4 different COIs for like 600 here, 700 here, 1,000, you know, like, so like it adds up, but it's just like a really rough process because there's so many different grant pies. So even if it was just like the state or the WIB or whoever working with us, so it was just like, it's one thing that you click through and you sign and it's all for like, so I think right now it is not set up to be easy for employers to tap into those incentives. And it would be really cool if we could figure that out. It's also like, as a creative person jumping into this world, it's so hard understanding all of the words, like that everything, like the government edu speak, right? Like, for all, because again, this is not meant necessarily for creatives that are now forcing, like learning how to do all the government stuff. So it takes me just longer to like reread everything and understand what I'm signing and then trying to translate to my same counterparts in industry. So I think that that's been a big challenge. But yeah, I could, it's been a process. What is cool is that I'm able to like give all of my failures and learnings to our HRTP partner and be like, hey, here, this was really hard. Here you go. But it's been a journey. And then also, not to put on blast, but since we're on it and since people asked, there's still 2 of our programs haven't technically gotten approved. They've been sitting for 9 months on someone's desk. And so like, if there could just be like some roadblocks with the DAS or wherever it is, I don't understand why we can't just call and push people's programs through to be officially registered. But that would be so amazing for these programs to be official so that people can tap into the official employer incentives. Rant ended. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, would anyone like to go next just to share some employer partners and some exciting projects that apprentices might have to look forward to?
I can go next. I know that we are a very new program, so we have not landed any apprenticeships yet. But our employer partners are, of course, our organization, Music Forward Foundation, Live Nation, as I spoke about, and we also work with Bulldog Events and a few others. That I don't know, like it's show lighting and show imaging, but it's, you know, it's all the cool humans that take, when you talk about 1099, but these are larger LLC corporations who place around the nation, but we're focusing on their LA placements as of right now. And that's usually in venue. And so that's something to think about if you are a music head, or if you want to be in venue and you love the high, or if you are, like I always say, a vampire and you love to work at night, definitely come our way because we are mostly focused on in venue work.
And I'll go next because our situation is similar. We have opportunities for participants to work in venue and on the road and in workshop. Typically, most of the participants will start in the workshop, working with employer partners such as Tate, Fuse Technical Group, Strictly FX, PRG, Volt Lights, Pyrotechnico, and Aspect Lighting. Those are our official employer partners. So it can look different depending on which partner a participant is placed with. But some projects could include, again, like I said, workshop work where you're getting kind of the fundamentals and the basics of live events. It could be working in a venue, it could be working on a show, it could be going on the road. It just depends on what opportunities are available and also the skill set, like how advanced or how skilled is the participant.
Awesome. Great. Well, I just shared a one sheet for everyone that has information on all of the wraps that we've been talking about. It includes all of the career tracks, contact information, website, just because I know that people were asking for it. So I want to make sure that everyone has that. In that one sheet, it's included some information about when submission windows are opening. So I wanted to open that up to anyone who does have any submissions opening anytime soon. And if they could share what you're looking for in candidates, any experience required, what can make an application stand out in your mind?
Yeah, I will start because we are year round. We have an open inquiry, what we call inquiry process before the application, and that is our assessment piece. And that is always open because we know in this industry, a tour could all of a sudden need 10 people, and then, or you just got off the road and you're ready to reapply. And so we also open our inquiry along with what we call our resume book. And so you're allowed to kind of enter in those two fields, because we also have year-round virtual professional development programming that I mentioned. That's free, completely open. And we offer that like three times a year. So we try to really make sure people feel professionally ready at all times to go. That's just kind of how our industry is. It's like, hurry up to wait, that kind of vibe, and then all of a sudden it's run. So yeah, we are always open to inquiry, and we're constantly looking at our resume book. I just got a call from Coldplay, and they need people tomorrow, kind of thing. So this is something that we really pride ourselves in, is always having that resume book full and with qualified, amazing candidates. So yeah, thank you.
I love what you said about being ready to run, because that's just kind of how this industry works. You just need to be ready to work the next day, that night. You just never know when an opportunity is going to come at you.
Yes, and that's been our experience as well. Like in a perfect world, it'd be like January 8th, everybody will be starting, but it's not. It's been like Warner Brothers or whoever being like, if you can get me 8 candidates by next Tuesday, I'll hire 2 of them. And you're like, oh, okay. And you're like hustling and trying to do it. But it all works out, right? Because we have to pre-screen everyone and meet with them and help them make sure that they know how to best tell their story, so they have their best foot forward for those interviews. 2 of our apprentices that have been doing great with that. So it is a bit of a hustle, but that's part of what a wrap is, right? Like we work year round and we have those connections with the talent and with that we're just doing the training to make sure that when those opportunities come, we can move quickly and get people on those jobs.
Yeah, I wanted to ditto that what Nicole mentioned, that the industry, a lot of it is like sometimes, yeah, production companies and studios, they do need someone like, hey, we're looking for someone to hire, ASAP. And we're like, okay, what does ASAP mean? Does that mean tomorrow, or does it mean next week? And so we have to like kind of get some clarity on that. Sometimes it is definitely like it happens right after our training program ends, that the placements kind of fall into like they get placed. And then other times there's a waiting period because we have to wait for the production companies to figure out their budget needs, their staffing needs, when shows start shooting, and then how does that filter in into post, and when does that start? So, and then sometimes projects are put on hold too. And so when that happens, then that kind of affects our placements as well. So sometimes it's a waiting game, and then other times it's like right away. But I did want to mention that we are opening applications for our next assistant editing training program this Monday. And the program starts on April 20th. And we do have these trainings every single weekend, consistent weekends for 6 weekends in a row. And so we look for people that have the time and available and put in the work. It's not one of these classes where you just sit there and listen, but we're looking for people that are, have the passion, have the drive, and wanting to learn these workflow processes, and eager to learn, and also willing to do the homework assignments Monday through Friday. So we want to make sure that people are committed, before that. And so that's one of the questions that we will ask, is what your level of commitment is, because what we don't want to happen is you're accepting it into the program, and then the first or the next weekend later, you're like, I got to drop out of the class. And that's just not fair for other people who apply for the program, who really wanted to be a part of this program, that they weren't accepted. So we definitely want people that are fully committed and willing to put in the work, for the program.
Yeah, and Monika, someone just put a question in the chat. Could you just confirm that your program is 18 to 24 only, just because this person is 29 and wanted to know?
No, it's not. Yeah, we are open, so 29-year-olds are welcome to apply as well, to the program. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you. Again, I just want to highlight that anyone can apply. It's just the funding opportunities are only for 18 to 24, but that's what affects us on the back end. That doesn't affect people applying.
Right.
Great. And then I just wanted to go into our last question before we go into any open Q&A. If you could give any advice to students, aspiring creatives who are interested either in registered apprenticeship programs or just working in entertainment in general, what would that be? What would you tell your younger self?
No one wants to go. I would say educate yourself by, for people that are interested in going the editing path. We strictly teach on Avid, which is the industry standard of, that they use for television shows and films. Their Avid does have a free 30-day trial period that I would recommend you just get familiar with that. And then there's all these different resources online that you could tap into, as well as, like Johnathon over there, Key Code, and there's other organizations, and schools have teach Avid as well. So, or some of the junior colleges. And also familiarizing yourself with the industry. I always tell people to read the trades. Trades are industry publications, either online or actually magazines such as Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Daily, Variety. Read those, know what's happening in the industry. The industry is constantly changing, and there's different organizations and companies and studios merging. And, so you'll learn more about, as a whole, from actors to the business side of the industry to, people, sometimes executives are being interviewed. And so you just learn more. And I think the more you know about the industry, you're able to can converse with different people and just, yes, stay up to date and network. We at the Handy Foundation are a strong believer of networking, and we have networking mixers both in person and on Zoom, and we encourage all of our cohorts to network within each other and network with the guest speakers. They have the opportunity to get the guest speakers' contact information and stay connected with those people, not just for when you're looking for work, but just in general. Just stay tapped into what people are doing. That would be my advice to people.
I mean, only to follow up, since we're in very similar industries, being software agnostic is a great idea. Don't get too attached to Avid or Adobe or whatever happens to be the next big platform that you have to learn. It's a tool. I regret not. I was an editor for 10 years, and I worked at Fox Sports promo division, and then I was at E, and I regret not having a mentor to help me figure out what path of an editor I needed to be. Obviously, I discovered I was no longer a long form editor. 8 years in my career, I'd have to start back over, and so I think the apprenticeship or having mentors and people within the industry to help you understand all the different options available with each job. You know, being a producer in commercials versus TV versus film is radically different. And so understanding the differences and what might be interesting to you and where the job you're choosing might lead you, it just helps you understand where you're heading, kind of. And I think with mentorship, or some type of person who can help you, or who has gone down some of those steps, it does help a lot long term, because then you can at least see a little bit of the forest through the trees. I mean, maybe not everything, but you understand what the next 3 jobs would be after you take a position.
I'll definitely go after that, because it's the same with the music industry. We actually really, really like to see that someone has been on tour, that they've ran a merch table, that they've closed out an account, that they've ran like the service side, that they've done hospitality and VIP services, or they've done special events. We actually like to see more is more in our industry. And just like with software, for us, it's really about in-person hours and humans that you know, and how many weird things you've done is actually the amalgamous of you moving forward in our industry. It would actually be weird on your resume if you've only worked in marketing ever, so just thinking that through. And then you probably think, if you're younger, you're thinking, okay, how do I do that? And I would say internships. That's really the thing, for especially post-COVID, for a lot of our friends here who missed out on a lot of incredible opportunities, or maybe you did do virtual internships. I would say go back again, and see about externships, see about volunteer hours. It's really about getting in the space. And for us, what we've noticed is that a lot of people are applying for jobs that are not fit for their life experience, but fit for their education, like I brought up earlier. For instance, you're applying for a coordinator position instead of an assistant coordinator position. And I would just say to everyone, like, humble thyself. It's a bizarre economy. If you're able to get in, it's way more important right now, again, to get those reps under your belt. And so that is the advice I'm giving my younger self too. I worked a lot of assistant to assistant jobs, but you'll never know who you're going to meet. And I think that's the opportunity to get that mentor. But also right now, you really have to just get in. So I hope that we are a possibility for you in the apprenticeship lane. But before that, even, it's really important just to take the job.
I know we only have a few minutes left, and I think Nicole or so she said it best in the chat. Any experience is relevant with even if we see that you've been doing something, volunteering or working with your church or a community group or a school group or a local band, running their soundboard, any little experience helps, because that lets us know kind of where you are and whether your passion lies. So I'm going to keep mine really brief, because I know we are pressed for time here, but yes, any experience is relevant.
Awesome. And then for open Q&A, I know we're really running short on time, but someone did ask about platforms that you would recommend for creating a portfolio on. Nicole, I feel like that might be directed for you.
Oof. We could go on a big AI tangent, but we don't have access to that right now. Kara is the only portfolio website for your art that isn't scraping your portfolio and putting it into a data set without your credit, consent, or compensation. So as an artist, I really recommend Kara. And then obviously, like, your own personal site is fine. Instagram is totally fine. And obviously ArtStation has been there for a long time as well. But yeah, there's a million. Vimeo is great. At the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter what platform you're using. Just don't send me a Google Drive link. Don't make me download your portfolio. And then also just being clear, right? If you wanting, for my pathways, if you're wanting to be a character artist, don't do 3 characters and then like 100 spaceships. You're not going to get that, right? But so just making sure that your portfolio is reflecting the job that you're going for.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any other questions. All right, well, then we will stop here because I do have to jump to another panel right after this. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate your great insight. And I hope that everyone considers and takes the time to apply to a registered apprenticeship program. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.